This is NDDC Today. Good evening and welcome to NDDC Today. Now, the work of the NDDC is ever continuous. As executives come and go, the needs of the region are unchanging. Each executive leaves its mark to the extent to which it grasps on time the real issues at stake and tackles them to the extent to which time and available resources permit. Meanwhile, the new management has embarked on some regional impact projects, fixing collapsed highways and opening up hamlets and villages by providing roads to otherwise inaccessible places, or of course for economic communications. But meanwhile, the headlines: the NDDC and the Ministry of the Niger Delta Affairs collaborate to complete the 362-kilometer east-west highway. Over 30 emergency road repair projects delivered in Akwa Ibom State. This is NDDC Today. About 6 kilometers collapsed length of the east-west highway within the Port Harcourt city is now getting a fresh reconstruction courtesy of the NDDC. It all started when the Minister of the Niger Delta Affairs secured the NDDC's commitment during his first official visit to the Commission's headquarters in Port Harcourt. The Niger Delta, a region with enormous potentials in oil and gas, the trademark that has put the nation's economy on its global map position. But it is sad to know that every activity involving the production and business of oil and gas in the Niger Delta, in most cases, have left many troubles than gains, particularly in the minds and the lives of the people across the region. The East-West Road, a regional highway which cuts across the south-south states of the Niger Delta. This highway traverses many cities, including Port Harcourt, and is just one out of hundreds of roads begging for attention all over the Niger Delta. The East-West Federal Highway is a single project that is arguably considered to be the most vital infrastructure of the federal government in the entire south-south region. Awarded in 2006 and transferred to the Ministry of the Niger Delta Affairs in 2008 for its quick completion, the project has suffered inadequate budget allocation over the years, according to the Minister of the Ministry of the Niger Delta Affairs, Pastor Usani Uguru Usani, who also doubles as the Supervising Minister of the NDDC. In his maiden visit to the Commission headquarters in Port Harcourt, the minister said his visit was first to familiarize himself with the Commission, then most especially to seek the cooperation and collaboration with the NDDC for the completion of the 11 years ongoing construction project of this 362-kilometer Warri-Calabar highway, fondly called the East-West Road. It traverses 5 states out of the 9 mandate states of the NDDC.
Right now, we are just going to make approval for a redesign of the route. And instead of 5 months, I'm telling the consultant, in 2 months I want to have it. So we can then go ahead with the process of discussing the alternatives of the award. And so, what you have suggested, if it becomes tenable that all parties involved agree to it, then as a team of procurement, will take that option. We'll think about that and also ask professionals on answer. The acting president was taking a tour of the region. He promised Nigerians, based on the town hall complaints about NDDC, that necessarily verify projects that have been procured by the Commission. So it means we are under directive to do that. And we hope that we all will give our maximum cooperation in doing that.
The Managing Director of the NDDC, Mr. Nsima Ekere, in his response, promised the visiting Minister of the Commission's readiness to collaborate with the Ministry of the Niger Delta Affairs to get the East-West Highway project off the ground.
The strategy is aimed at addressing the major impediment to the completion of that project, which has been found out. I think we need about 70-something billion naira now. More than 70-something billion to complete the road now. And the budgets can't carry it. The budget of the ministry is not carrying that. So the strategy would be, what do we do? How do we harness private sector involvement and collaboration such that we can deliver on that project?
Shortly after the minister's visit, the NDDC had an immediate cause to help. A section of the road within Port Harcourt, the distance between Eleme Junction and the Onne Junction, had failed.
A section of that road that has totally failed, that is causing a lot of problems. From Eleme Junction to Akpajo refinery all the way towards Onne. People have had to stay on that section of the road for 3-4 hours, a journey of less than 10 minutes. People have stayed there for 3, 4, 5 hours, Honorable Minister. And so we are going to immediately deploy a team under an emergency procurement process to go and take care of the business.
This stubborn terrain had over the years defied different engineering techniques in road construction, thereby causing so much delay to motorists and travelers plying the route. The NDDC is giving the road a fresh reconstruction. Mr. Nsima Ekere, on a visit to the project site, was accompanied by the Executive Director of Project Engineer Samuel Ajogbe and other directors of the Commission for an inspection toward the project site. Mr. Nsima Ekere assured motorists and commuters that the emergency repairs on the failed section will be completed within 3 weeks. The MD CEO during the inspection described the failing section as the gateway to the economic activities of the Niger Delta. The MD expressed his satisfaction so far for the quality of work which the contractor had done within the few days they've been on site. He assured the strict monitoring and supervising of the project by the team of the Commission's engineers. In order to guarantee the quality of the work, the contractor is asked to deliver.
So far, the quality of work I'm seeing here is impressive. I'm not an engineer, but from what I hear from the engineering team, this seems to be a very impressive work. But it's even as a layman, the fact that you've had to excavate in some areas, like you've explained, in some areas you have to excavate up to 2.5 meters, take away the unsuitable soil, and then import fresh soil, suitable soil, to remedy the failed portions. It's a very impressive work. And then you've used a lot of hardcore before the stone base and before the asphalting. It's a commendable work, and I want to use this opportunity also to commend Nigerian contractors and also to challenge you to do more.
The MD reiterated that the objective of the Commission was to improve the living condition of the people of the Niger Delta. Briefing the NDDC boss on the work done so far, the project manager said they were faced with the challenge of soil texture, but promised to do a good job that will stand the test of time.
Yeah. So on the average for that portion, we had about 2 meters average excavated because it was varying from 2.5 to 1.5. But that C4I checkpoint area, but that was more critical because that's practically will have high traffic, vehicles stopping because of the checkpoint and all that. Yeah. So there was a lot of load bearing on that particular road.
The pace at which the contractor was working, according to some motorists on the road, was commendable. They expressed their confidence and satisfaction for the urgent intervention of the NDDC.
There's improvement because it's trying. If they leave this road now, we have covered more and we'll be seeing many things. We'll be opening many things. Motor for accident, we'll be opening more tankers.
As some spectators that came to the scene to catch a glimpse of the MD's visit also affirmed the importance of the road to motorists, Niger Deltans and Nigerians at large.
Come back to the country and do more better. Yes. And we need the speed of this road.
There's a difference. The difference, we're hoping that by the time they finish, we'll be able to pass.
Although the standard and quality of the engineering work which the contractor has put in place so far, some experts have said is commendable, taking into consideration the volume of articulated vehicles plying the route on a daily basis, one can say only the end will justify all confidence. Is the NDDC still poised to liberate the Niger Delta from the throes of underdevelopment and poverty?
The core mandate of the Commission is to facilitate the rapid and sustainable development of the Niger Delta region.
There have been recent initiatives by the acting president with the approval of Mr. President. So we can see a new sense of urgency to quickly address the agitations in the region.
As it swings into action, consolidating earlier gains, providing remedial infrastructures, charting new development paths, the NDDC continues to engage stakeholders, development partners to achieve a long-held dream.
We extended invitation to development partners and to other stakeholders to collaborate with us to deliver shared value to the people of the Niger Delta region.
The NDDC, poised to make a real difference. Watch out for broadcast times in the major TV networks. Over the past 5 months, the new management of the NDDC has been doing a lot in the area of road rehabilitation and reconstruction. The rainy season is particularly a time to feel the impact of good or bad roads. The raining season is here. Roads in the Niger Delta, towns and villages are highly threatened by erosion and floods. One of the major contributory factors that aroused the agitation which led to the creation of the Niger Delta Development Commission was lack of good access roads into and out of towns and villages all across the Niger Delta. Therefore, if the NDDC must achieve its mandate objectives in this regard, a network of good motorable roads across the region must be one of the Commission's topmost priorities. The NDDC, as an interventionist agency of the federal government, has shown its strength within the limits of its financial capacity. The Commission has intervened in massive road constructions across the region, with several of its mega roads and bridges projects cutting across some forbidden terrains to link communities and towns over the last 15 years of its creation. Recently, in 2016 to be precise, the NDDC awarded contracts for the emergency repairs, remedial works on hundreds of roads across the Commission's mandate states. Some federal highways, states and local government internal roads were captured in the Emergency Roads Repair Projects program of the Commission. In Akwa Ibom State, the Commission awarded 45 road repair remedial work projects in the 2016-2017 batches A and B Emergency Roads Repair Projects Awards. Out of these, over 30 of them are already in use. This is within the first 5 months of the new board's assumption of office. Very few are in different stages of near completion. The communities in these repair project catchment areas are now happier than ever.
If you have opportunity of going around other streets, even within Uyo, talking about Okanafor, talking about streets, the houses, the Atapo, Catering Institute. Those are roads that from the creation of this state have never been tarred, and they are receiving that facelift today.
A magnificent star project in Akwa Ibom State so far has been the 6.87 kilometer Iko-Atabrikan Iwachan Road and Bridges project. This is located in one of the largest oil-producing areas in Akwa Ibom State, linking Ibuno to neighboring towns in eastern Obolo, connecting over 38 communities in this area. In the last 5 months of the Commission's 7th board assumption to office, the Phase 2 of the Ibuno-Iwachan Road project has steadily progressed. Clearing through the project main alignment and cutting through the swampy terrain is near completion. Sand filling is ongoing simultaneously, with a clearing across the bridge point, leaving less than 500 meters to the completion of clearing and sand filling. Most communities along the project location are now attracting additional project works from the NDDC. Nkorotip, a once forgotten community, is now getting an award of an internal road network, courtesy of the opening up process.
I was a teacher, but now I am a fisherman. Before this bridge, no como, with a paddle for hand. They suffer too much, but as this bridge comes, now motor can carry me to port to sell my fish, can carry me anywhere to Aba, to anywhere I want to go. So this bridge is too much for us at Okorotip City.
One of the most remarkable emergency repairs remedial work is the Itu-Calabar Federal Highway, an interstate highway that crosses the borders of Itu local government with Cross River State. Until its recent award by the Federal Minister of Work for Reconstruction and Dualization, the NDDC had intervened and took remedial maintenance of collapsed sections of this ever-busy road to a total of 86 kilometers that had caused motorists and travelers months of untold nightmare before the Commission intervened 5 months ago. The Itu-Calabar Federal Highway, now motorable again without hassles, courtesy of the NDDC.
The Calabar-Itu Road, which had been in the deplorable state for so many years, so about 5-6 years, it was a no-go area, a dead trap. But if you move in now between Uyo and Calabar, you can drive under 1 hour and you are in Calabar. So the two sister states, the economic activities are becoming a period of our activities. NDDC has done a lot. It has never happened like this before.
Uyo, the Akwa Ibom state capital, is a major beneficiary of NDDC's road repair projects. Many deplorable internal roads within the capital city have been given a facelift courtesy of the NDDC. Just to mention but a few more projects in Akwa Ibom is Udo Street and environs in Uyo, the capital city. These roads before now were abandoned by the residents. Motorists and residents of this environ cannot express their happiness seeing the completion of this repair project by the Commission. One reasonable factor that attracts people in any residential estate is a good network of roads. At the Federal Housing Estate Abak Road, Uyo, the internal roads within the state were in a terrible state before the NDDC came to its rescue through the Commission's Repair Remedial Work Program. Some residents of this estate testified that roads around the estate had totally collapsed, with many of them impassable before now. But with the total remedial work done, with a little work left for the contractor who is still on site with caterpillars, rollers and workmen, they said the prayers of the residents of the Federal Housing Estate Uyo have been answered.
I am completely convinced because NDDC was created about 15 years ago as an interventionist agency. It's just to fill in the gap between the state government and the federal government and that of the local government. If you look at the quality and the speed they use in this remedial and emergency repairs, they've completely filled in the gap. So I give them kudos.
The roads repair work of the NDDC was also extended to cover Unyong Asian and Nsasak streets and environs, which connected over 7 adjoining streets within its locality in Uyo. Residents of these streets and those applying trade here are thankful to the NDDC for saving them from the challenges which these roads had caused them over the past 40 years.
Before this road, it was very bad. Car is not even bad, not even talking about to walk up for it. But now everybody, even motor, everybody they pass here, they go anywhere, even walk. Now walk is the enter where before walk you know even go. But now walk come. So I thank God.
Before the intervention of the NDDC in Incentive Street and its environs in Uyo Area Council, most residents living here had moved out as a result of the challenges they faced due to the collapse of this road. Upon the award and completion of this project, the business and social life of this community has been revived. The quality of the work done by the contractor is exhilarating, according to some residents in the area.
The road was so bad, business didn't move, many people backed out of the street because the road was not good. So NDDC have done so much for us.
Another road that was of great importance to the people of Uyo, which the NDDC could not overlook unattended to, was the Ukana-Offord Street of Abak Road, Uyo. The remedial work done on this project covered a stretch of 1.5 kilometers. There was a lot of earthwork and asphalting on this once abandoned major road. Motorists and residents, as usual, tell of untold hardship before the commission intervened. The work done here goes beyond mere repair, according to the contract, firm engineer, and some of the residents within the environ.
I want to thank God now that the road has been fixed. You can see the signpost there by the Niger Delta Development Commission. So I want to thank the Niger Delta, the NDDC, and of course the federal government for helping us to fix this road.
A little away from the capital city, the Commission's road repair pulse was also felt in Uruan local government area of Akwa Ibom State. The NDDC has completed the remedial repair work on the failed sections of the 2.2-kilometer Ita-Ishet Road. This road has caused travelers and the rural dwellers years of unforgettable ugly experiences. Now their cries seem to be over. Motorists and cyclists can now access the communities with ease and without fear of potholes.
This is an old Oron road. The road has been for many years now. The state of the road was not that good, but we thank God that the work has started already, and we know they will automatically finish it. So this is the loan that they have done. We have been grateful on behalf of the community. We have been grateful.
Still in Uruan local government area, the NDDC has given the people of Ibiako, Ishet, Adadia communities and environs a big relief. This commercial fish market that welcomes traders and visitors from afar and near was once cut off from the rest of the state. But for the quick intervention of the NDDC, the social and economic life of the people are now restored. Eket, the operational base of Nigeria's oil exploration giant ExxonMobil, from whom operational activities in Akwa Ibom State, a chunk of the wealth of this nation, is derived. The NDDC is aware of this fact and is doing all the best within its capacity as an interventionist agency to identify maximally with its people. The road repair remedial works of the NDDC are very much visible in Eket. Major streets within the city have received from remedial facelift. These connections of roads were before now a terrible thing to see. Now the true face of ECAT as an oil-bearing community is no longer in doubt. These facts now speak for themselves.
I think anybody who has said that NDDC has done nothing in terms of road delivery is just misplacing maybe playing with the truth and the fact, and trying to play politics with the whole issue. And let me just say that NDDC has really come to the rescue of Akwa Ibom residents, and you in particular. I don't want to talk about, I know what they've done, interventions they've done in other local governments, but you in particular is quite tremendous. Look at the weight housing here. All the roads, over 20 roads have been resurfaced by NDDC, and the resurfacing is beautiful and good.
To conclude, a lot of work has gone on in the remediation of failed roads in Akwa Ibom State. Many of the communities are now aware that for once, the fact that they're oil-producing communities is no longer difficult to see. Well, that's our package for today. We tell you that every week we'll be on the heels of the NDDC to make sure they're doing what they're supposed to do, that is bringing development to the Niger Delta. Now you can get in touch with us with any of the numbers you can see at the bottom of your screen, and you also can get us on YouTube in case you miss some or part of this program. Don't forget to join us same time next week. Thank you for watching.